Let's go over the learning guide for this week. The reading materials for this week are Chapter 6 and Chapter 7 of our textbook. Chapter 6 covers account planning and research. Chapter 7 covers marketing, advertising, and integrated marketing communication planning. The assignment for this week is the advertising plan outline. The goal for the advertising plan outline is for you to get started with your final advertising plan. The final advertising plan is due on the last week of the semester. I will come back to the advertising plan outline, but I'm going to go over now the final advertising plan. So then you understand what you need to do for the outline alone. So I have some examples here of previous work from your colleagues on past classes, and I also have here some examples of the advertising brief. I'll cover that in a second, but let me go over the final advertising plan. First thing you have to do is select a service or a product that you want to advertise. It could be also a company. It's all up to you. My advice is for you to do a research online to see what information can you find about that product or service or company. Sometimes you'll find advertising brief. If you understand it, if you remember when we talked about the jobs at the advertising agency, there is a very important job there that's the account planner. The account planner is responsible to do the research and try to find out what the final customer wants, what resonates with them, what type of message. And that's part of the research that the account planner does. And with that information, it creates the advertising brief. The advertising brief is a document that will help the creative director and all the stakeholders within the advertising agency to create the advertising plan. Once you select the product or service, then you're starting to develop your final advertising plan. But again, this is the final advertising plan. For this week, we're going to focus on the outline, but I'm going to go over all the steps that you need to do on the final advertising plan. Then you'll understand what you need to do for the outline. Your final assignment can be submitted on a Word document or a PowerPoint. I prefer that you do a PowerPoint, but it's all up to you. So you need to do like a cover page or the first slide of the PowerPoint, where you put the company, the product name, your name, and the semester, so I know who's submitting what. Then the table of contents, the second page. Then you're starting to work on the plan itself. So there's a step that we call the situation analysis. The situation analysis is a step within the advertising plan we also call the discovery phase. That's when you try to learn about the product, try to learn about the audience that's going to buy that product. So you start by looking at the company, name, business field, location, etc. Then digging into the product information. If you remember the 4 P's of marketing, the first P is product. So you have to address the product, you have to know how the product or service was developed and what's the use for. What is it that product or service will do for you or for the consumer? That information is very vital for you to create the advertising plan. Then you have to describe the product visually and mechanically. That's what I'm talking about, the package, how the product is being packaged. Then you do the product evaluation. The SWOT analysis, and I hope you know what SWOT analysis is. I have some examples on the work that some of the students have done in the past. So on the SWOT analysis, you look for the strength, the weakness, the opportunities, and the threats of the product. Then explain product differentiation. So what is different from this product that makes it appealing to the customer? So then that means what's a unique feature that this product has that differentiates from other products or service. Then you explain the brand strategy. Then you address your target audience, the segmentation. Market segmentation can be done by demographic, geographic, behavior, and psychographic. Then we cover placement. What is the placement? The placement, if you recall, again, the 4 P's of marketing is the second P. How the product is going to reach the customer. Are you going to use retailers? Are you going to use some distributors? Or are you going to sell the product directly to the customer? Then the price policy. A little bit of history about the price and where the price situates with the competitors. Then you do a competitive evaluation. There is 2. The primary competition are companies or products that compete directly with your product. For example, who's direct competitor of McDonald's? It would be Burger King, of course, and Wendy's also another direct competitor. Secondary competitors are products that may not be the same line, but they are products that can substitute other product. In this case, I'm talking about McDonald's, Wendy's, probably Pizza Hut, because if you're hungry, either you go to McDonald's or might go to Pizza Hut. So it's not a direct competition, but it could be a competitor in the fast food industry. Then the goals or the objectives. We always use what we call SMART goals. What are SMART goals? SMART goals are goals, they are measurable, attainable, so you can reach them, and realistic and timely. Let's give you some examples of SMART goals. To create awareness of the brand among 35% of consumers by the end of the year. So it's very specific to create awareness of the brand. Then it's measurable because you are putting a number here. So at the end of the year, if you don't reach 35%, you know that you didn't reach your goal. So, and then timely, it's important. And here you say when you plan to reach your goal by the end of the year. Another SMART goal here is to generate 10,000 sales leads by the second quarter. Very specific, measurable, and by the end of the second quarter. Then we get into the communication strategy. Central route and peripheral route, those are things that you learn on the textbook. So once you read that, you understand what I'm talking about. Are you going to use slogans, taglines? Are you going to put some visual elements, the illustration for photos or drawings? Audio, if you're doing a radio commercial or TV commercial. So then the script, music, jingles, sound effects, all that. So this is the communication strategy. Then the execution of your advertising. It's going to be a print, it's going to be radio scripts, television storyboards, outdoor board design. All these are part of the execution. Most of the things that I'm covering now are not part of the outline. This is for your final assignment. Then media strategy. Which media are you going to select to reach your audience? Then you put the budget. But you'll understand a little better once I show you some examples of previous work done by your colleagues in past classes. So here you have some a link that you can download. You have some samples of advertising brief. I have a series of advertising brief here. Let me see if I can find one so I can go over that. Okay, we have a Reebok here. As you can see, it gives you the company background. This is advertising brief for Reebok. I found that online, so you might be able to find some of these online for the company or service that you plan to do advertise. You are welcome to use one of these that I have here. That's fine. It's up to you. So see here, what's the goal here? Exactly here. And this is the target audience they're trying to reach. Brand voice. So what type of messaging? Insights. You don't need to create an advertising brief for the product or service that you're going to do. This is just a document that will help you create your final advertising plan. So let me show now a few examples of the final advertising plan. Again, this is the final. What I'm showing here is the final advertising plan. It's not the outline. This student decided to do a advertising plan for Fiji, which is some sort of spring water. So here's some information about the student. Let's keep going. This is table of content. Then a little background. See, she's already within the situation analysis, as you can see right here. Background of the product, product information, evaluation. She did a little she did a SWOT analysis. So as you can see, she addresses the strengths of the product, the weakness, the opportunities, and the threats. The pricing policy. Here, the consumer evaluation. And the competitors. So I'm not going to go over this, so you just take your time, go over. I have, I believe, 3 different assignments here. I have 3 different assignments here from previous class. Just go over this. Also, look at the advertising brief. That's a good help for you to finish your advertising. So let's address now what you need to do for this particular assignment for this week, which is just the outline. This you'll do it on a Word document. You don't need to go on PowerPoint because it's just a list of things that you need to do. So this is for you to get started with your final advertising plan. So you do the situation analysis. And by the way, this is just an outline. You don't have to go into the details of every single thing that you have here. So just put some outline here. So it will be a guide for you to do your final assignment. So, and then I don't care if you do an outline for a company or service now, and then in a week or 2 you decide, oh, probably I should do for a different company. That's fine. Just for this particular assignment, it's just your outline. And this outline doesn't necessarily have to be the same product or service of your final assignment. So if you do the outline for a particular product or service, and then a week or 2 you decided that you want to change, you don't even have to tell me anything. Just start all over again, do the final assignment. You don't have to do an outline for me because you've already done that. So all you need to do here is just put the name of the company, go to some information about the product, the placement, and this is all can change on your final product. But at least get started. Put some bullet points there on this outline so I have an idea which direction you're going. The price policy as well, consumer makeup, so all that. So then the execution. Just briefly, this again can change. So this is all you have to do for this outline. Just a list of things that you're planning to do. This is like an orientation for you to finish your assignment. So I hope this will help you. If you have any questions or concerns, just send me an email or text me and I'll try to help you as soon as I can.